there's some machinations happening over at our beloved ATU 757 headquarters. And right now, it's apparently a drive to separate the TriMet employees from the rest of the ATU 757 properties. Now, I, of all people, do understand the frustration that many members feel, especially us retirees, those of us who retired, who had been promised a certain level of health care, and that turned out to be a lie. We were fooled. We retired under false premises, and now we're pissed. And I can understand that because nobody expected to be lied to when they spent years and years of time working at TriMet and then to get screwed when we left TriMet. That wasn't part of our thinking, and a lot of us are angry, myself included. I think it's a terrible tragedy that's happened to many of us because I lost 25% of my pension and I lose more if I actually get sick. So that was a 25% reduction in my pension benefits. And I know other people who got hurt much worse than me. So we have justifiable reasons to be angry with the union right now.
This is June, a TriMet retiree's wife. Because of health care benefits promised through her husband's retirement from TriMet, she has survived an aneurysm, 2 bouts with cancer, and a 12-day stay in the hospital for pneumonia with complications of congestive heart failure. But she will not survive without health care. The health care June and her husband Bob are counting on will be either taken away or cost so much they'll only have $200 left from Bob's pension.
But with that said, this move to separate ATU 757 from TriMet employees, I don't see any possibility of that holding any positive value for us whatsoever. I don't see how separating into this new bargaining unit is going to improve our situation at all. Think about it. Use your head, people. We've just had a election, and then we had a redo election, and now we want to split the union. I mean, I know that the fighting at this local never stops because it never does. I've been watching it for over 20 years, and the fighting never stops. It just goes on and on and on. There is no solidarity at this local. That's one of the reasons why McFarland has been able to get what he wants, because there's no solidarity. And I'm not talking about the leadership here. I'm talking about the membership. Okay, the members are not, they're not a cohesive group of people. Now, when it comes to the leadership, there's definite problems. I understand the problems better than most people because I've been following it. It's a hobby to me. I watch. I talk to Chris Day, who's a good friend of mine, and Chris Day happens to know everything that's going on there, and I hear what he has to say, and I understand the problems. They are real. They're not to be taken lightly. They exist, and they are not helpful to the members. A lack of transparency, that iron-fisted rule is definitely not conducive to a happy membership. But even with all of that, splitting to another division, I've thought about it, and I can't think of any benefits right now for that. I can't think of any reason to do that right now. Even with all the problems, I mean, can you imagine trying to start a new local right now? That's just insane, okay? It's just insane. I can't imagine. I didn't think this thing was going to have any legs. I didn't want to get involved in it at all, but apparently this thing's got some legs. But I don't see any possible advantages of doing that at this moment. And I don't know if, unions are under assault from around the world. We have a new president here who's definitely not a union supporter. He's appointed cabinet people that have anti-union positions. Unions might be at their final gasp in this country. With that in mind, do you really think it's a good idea to split the union at this time? No, it's not a good idea to do it. And I hope people think clearly about this. I mean, you're upset with the leadership. Okay, well, go run your own candidates. I mean, we've had two Democratic elections here, and they've won both of them. I mean, it's like protesting Trump. He won the election, even though he actually didn't win the election. He actually lost the election. But we all know, of course, that we don't live in a democracy. We live in this weird whatever it is. But you know, the election has been over. Now, we don't want to go like the country. Okay, you see what's happening to the country right now? It's getting split into two. And you can see where this is going to lead. And it's not going to be good for anybody. And if we do the same thing to ourselves right now, we're going to be exactly that same position. We don't need this. This needs to stop right now. Vote no. Don't sign it.